So we're gonna start making our ghost while our stuff is drying, and then we can get our googly eyes on our ghost, and then that can dry, and then we can make the candy while everything's drying, and then we'll sew everything on all at the same time. So you're still sticking with your 4mm. So let me explain something about this ghost. I don't really need to explain. This part here is just a granny square. And then this part here is actually, I put stuffing in his head. So it's pretty easy peasy. I gotta get my pipe cleaners out of here. They are sticking to everything. Pretty easy peasy ghost. So you're gonna make a magic ring. Let me show you this slowly. You're going to put 6 single crochets into this ring. You're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So again, I'm just going to count to 12. Next row is going to be 1 single crochet and an increase. That's my 1 single crochet. Next one is going to be an increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. I am stuck on my spider again. I gotta move my stuff. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. So I can repeat this all the way around, and at the end you should have 18 stitches. Next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. There's number 1. Next stitch gets 1 single crochet, so now that's 2. 1, 2 single crochets and an increase. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2 all the way around, and at the end you should have 24 stitches. So for the next 3 rows, you're going to put 1 single crochet in each of those 24 stitches. And then you're going to slip stitch. And you're going to chain 3. And we're going to get ready to do the granny square. So follow the screen prompts and I will see you on the other side. So that's my 3 rows of 1 single crochet. I am going to, you don't need a stitch marker anymore. So I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. I'm going to chain 3, and we're going to get ready to start building the granny square part. For that drives me crazy. So to start on the head of a ghost, to start a granny square. This may seem a little unorthodox because generally you start a granny square from like no stage. We're starting it from a ghost head stage, so bear with me. I want you to do 5 double crochets. That's 5 double crochets. And then in the same space, your next stitch, I want you to put 2 double crochets in the same space. I want you to chain 2 and put 2 more double crochets in that same space. It'll fit. And then I want you to do 5 double crochets. So there is a stitch right here, which may be hard to see because this might be kind of going over it like that. But if you pull this back, there's a stitch right there. So 5 double crochets. And then the same thing. So in the next stitch, you're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets, all in the same stitch. And then 5 double crochets. And then in the next stitch, you're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And then 5 double crochets. That's 5 double crochets. And then in this last stitch, you're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, 1 double crochet, and then slip stitch to the top of that chain, because your first chain 2 will act as a second stitch for that corner. Chain 2. So that's what you should have, 4 corners. And then we just proceed to make a granny square. So if you know how to make a granny square, you can go right ahead and you can do it. Granny squares are made very, very differently. Some people make them with a lot of great big spaces. I don't. I have a granny square video if you want to go find it in my playlist. But I don't make granny squares like typical people. So your next round is going to be 6 double crochets. You're basically going to double crochet over to this corner. So that's 6 double crochets. In this big space, you're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, all in this big space, creating another corner with a big space on top of that. Then you're going to do 9 double crochets. The reason this wasn't 9 is because we're going to have some over here after this, but all sides will be even. So don't worry about this number being different. Once you get back over here, you can do the same thing in that big space. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So you're just putting corners on top of corners and stitches on top of stitches. So double crochet back around, back over to this corner. There's a stitch right there. Don't forget that stitch right there. So 9 double crochets. Now you're back around to this corner. You're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, all in the same space. So this is how we're going to continue. We're working row 8 right now, and we're going to go to row 10. So we're only doing a couple more rows after this. So don't forget this stitch. You got to pull this over. 9 double crochets. And then once you get over here, you're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So that's how I do a granny square. And you might want to just do that for the ghost. You can do it any way you want for your own ghost. But so we have 1 stitch here. Actually, these 2 and then this one makes 3. Those 2 we just put in that corner, and then this one makes 3. We had 6 here, so that's 9 altogether. So I'll go to the top of this chain and slip stitch and chain 2. So I've come back around, all finished. You can slip stitch to the top of that first chain and fasten off. So don't worry about fastening off with a sewing tail. Just fasten off with just enough to weave in your end. Don't worry about this guy in the middle. So, you'll need a piece of yarn this is what you're going to sew with. So get a decent amount. So I get about that. Whatever that is. Okay, so take a little bit of stuffing and put it into your head. However much you want. But you're going to put it into your head of your ghost. Once you think you have enough, you can really pack it down there. Once you think you have enough, I'm going to do this tactic. I'm going to do it this way then. If it wants to be a pain in my butt. And then I'll tie a knot. That's probably the easiest way, so it doesn't pop open. My end's straggling. So, tie a double knot. I don't know how long this piece is. Cut off this straggler guy. And there's your ghost. There's your ghosty guy. So, and then your sewing thing, I don't think I need that much. So I put these little tiny eyes on him too. So find wherever you want your face to be. I got my tie there, so I'm going to put my face up here. If you have fabric glue, you can use that too. It'll probably work better than this. So I'm going to put a couple big dollops. The only reason I'm using this is because it's clear. You're not going to see it. 'Cause I put great big dollops of glue. Why are you not coming out? Oh, the top dried over. I put great big dollops. Probably bigger than I need to put my eyes in. So when it dries, I don't want it to be noticeable. That's why I'm using that. And I bought this on Amazon. Actually, I bought a 10 pack for like $10 or something. So it was great. It's Amazon Basics. So we're going to let our ghosty dry. And then we'll get making some candy. So, I used 2 different colors. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can just use one piece. I used 2 different colors, so I'll do that in this video. So, you are going to make a slip knot with your first color. So I'm just using scraps to do this. So you can use whatever scraps you have. So we're making the big one first. So we're going to chain 15. That's 15. I have 14 working chains. My 15th one is on the hook. I'm going to single crochet 14. So single crochet all the way back up to where you started. That's 14. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn, and you're going to do 14 single crochets again all the way to the other side. You're going to chain 1 and turn, but before, if you're switching colors, you're going to chain 1 with your new color. And my other color is white. So I'm going to be changing colors in a few minutes. So what I like to do is weave in my new color before I get to where I need to use it. So I'm just simply weaving it in. I'm not using it. And I do this too for when I'm going to be running out of yarn, so I don't have to tie anything together. If I'm running out of a ball and I want to switch a ball, I just start weaving in the old ball, and then I just simply switch. So don't forget this very last turning over stitch. So pull through with that color, drop, and use your new color to chain 1 and turn. We can cut this off later. So with your new color, you're going to do 2 rows of 14 single crochet, chain 1 and turn, just like we just did, and then you're going to switch back to the other color. So you're just carrying this color with you. Chain 1, turn, you got 1 more row, still carrying your other color because you got to go back to that anyway. So you've done 2 rows of the white. You're going to go back to this color, so you're going to chain 1 with this color. You're going to turn, now you got to weave in the white. So now you're going to do 2 rows of this color again. So you're going to chain 1 with your white, and you're going to turn. You're going to do 2 rows of white. Weaving in your other color. So chain 1 with your other color. So you're going to do 2 more rows of this color, and then that's it. You're going to be done. You don't need your white anymore. So after you weave it in a bit, you can cut it off. So you can fasten off. You don't need a whole bunch. I actually didn't use any of this to sew it to the wreath. So all you need for this is just enough to weave and to sew together that way. So lengthways, horizontal ways. Actually, keep your straggler. We don't need to. Actually, may not need your straggler. That could probably just get tucked inside. So you're going to put your 2 ends together, and you're going to sew. We can cut that off later. And you're going to whip stitch. since I didn't leave myself enough to make a knot. So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to cut that off. So we're going to put a tiny bit of stuffing in here. However much you think is enough. But you're going to tie it here and tie it there. So you want at least some of that with some girth. So take some of the yarn you reused. So you're going to go about, actually let's do it the same way I did the ghost so it's nice and tight. So I don't know, about half inch down. Pull tight. Oh, some of my stuffing came out. And then you're going to tie a knot. Some of my stuffing popped out. That's okay. I'll shove it down that side. Once I got that full, I can actually figure out my stuffing situation a lot better. But just remember, you're going about a quarter of the way down, or a half inch of the way down this side too. So you can cut off your straggler, both sides. But there is your first piece of candy. So the letter associated with this is an E. I probably already put it on the screen. This blue might be a little big to use with this. It's 4-way, but it's worsted. Don't use worsted, because it is a little bigger than what my other ones are made out of, but I'm just trying to use up scraps. So make a slip knot, and this one you're going to chain 9. So that's 9. I have 8 working stitches. I'm going to single crochet 8. So all the way back up to the top, chain 1 and turn. So I'm going to single crochet 8. Don't forget, get into this. A lot of people don't realize there's a stitch there. That very first stitch. You gotta pull back to see it. So we're going to be changing colors again. And again, I'm going to use white. So I like to weave in before I get to where I'm going to need to use it. Don't forget this turning over stitch at the end. So when you chain 1, you're going to do it with your new color. And then you're going to carry your new color. So we're not going to be doing it as big as we did this candy. It's going to be a lot smaller. And we're not doing it as many times. So So change color and do 2 rows of the white. Don't forget to get into this first stitch. Weaving in your blue. So that's 2 rows of the white. We're going to change back to blue, so chain 1 with the blue, weaving in your white. You're going to do 2 rows of white, or blue, sorry. Making sure I was weaving in the white. So once you get back, you can drop your blue, pick up your white, chain 1 with your white. You're going to do 2 rows of white, and then this is it. So weave in your blue. You won't need it anymore, so you can cut it off after the first row of weaving. So you can fasten off the sewing tail. Not much of one, you're just sewing this together. So that's just the straggler end. You can just cut that off. That's not much for adding. Little tiny, I mean such a small amount of stuffing goes into this. But let's tie the one end first. I'm just going to use white. Now we can shove some of this down there. So pack it down so you have enough room to put your other end. There. So you just gotta open your ends. And there's your other piece of candy. So you can go and make your second small one, and I will meet you back here. Alright, so I got all my candy done. I added a something to sew that on with, and I did my third candy. So let's start sewing this stuff on, because my glue and my eyes are probably dry by now. So actually this one here I think I'm just gonna tie on, because it's probably easier. So I just tied that on. These other ones I have sewing things, because I actually sewed my candy to my candy. I'm going to make my knot here this time. Everything's pretty snug and tight. I'm struggling to get my needle through it. It's tight. There, my candy is done. Oops. So, the tie, I guess I should have done the tie before so I got the ghost here holding this down, but this doesn't seem like it's going to stay down. So you know what? I'm just going to take some glue. And you can do this with fabric glue. And I'm just going to glue that down. Just so it stays in place. So, let's set him aside. We got to do the ties for the back. So, for my wreath before, I just took strands and I put it through a post, and then I braided it, and then I made a loop at the top. So that's what we're gonna do for this one, just because it's the most simplest thing to do. I don't have enough room on my table here. Okay, so get your black and get your orange or whatever color you want to use. And so I did 45 inches long. So 45 inches. I cut 2 orange and 1 black, 45 inches long. So find a post in the middle. I need a hook. Find a post somewhere in the middle of your banner. And pull it through. Till it's like that. And then you want to even up these two sides, because you're going to be braiding it. I'm going to turn my thing back over so my glue can dry. I might have to use fabric glue for that. So you're going to braid 3/4 of the way down. So you want to prop this up or something. So you want 3 groups of 2, but you don't want the colors together, I don't think. So one group will have to have 2 orange, and then the other one can be black and orange and black and orange. So if you don't know how to braid, I'll try to give you. So once you get your 3 groups, once you get your 3 groups, you're going to take a side piece and you're going to go over the middle, and then you're going to pull the middle out. So now you have a new middle. Then you're going to take this side piece and you're going to make that the middle, and you're going to pull the middle out. And you're going to keep doing that. Take the side, make that the middle, and pull the middle out. Now take this side, make that the middle, and pull this middle out. So that's what you're going to do all the way down. Well, 3/4 of the way down. That's what you're going to do. So once you're done, you're going to make a loop. You're going to take your yarn, all depending on the size of loop. You can decide how big or how small you need your loop. And then you're going to use all of this yarn to make a knot, a double knot. I left all my tassels on. I did not cut my tassels. Here we go. So you just got to fix your ghost's outfit. Looks like the spider's trying to eat the candy. Anyway, that's our wreath made from a pizza box lid, if you can believe it. I mean, all in all, because I mean the black, I didn't even use a half a roll of black. If I had to do this up, I probably spent $6. That's not including the pizza that I ate to get the pizza box. So, but anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.